Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it is, of course, they made what into a TV series. Hey, it's Castlevania, working our way through the original series, starting Season 3. This is episode 1 from Season 3. Bless your dead little hearts. A nice little title. That is actually said, if you noticed, it was actually said in the episode. Directed, of course, by Sam Deet and written by Warren Ellis, the same duo that have taken us all the way through. The consistency is clear to see.
Yep.
This feels very much like Season 2 and Season 1.
100%.
100%.
Yep.
We're back. And it's basically time to check in with everyone. That's what this episode is. What's everybody been doing since the death of Dracula? We pick up 1 month. 1 month. I thought it would be longer, but it's actually just 1 month.
Yeah, I'm glad. I didn't want like a 2 years later.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted it to be sort of close by. Yeah.
Yeah, like a month, like long enough for things to have changed, but not enough to really change too much.
Yep.
A month after the death of Dracula, and everything seems peaceful as we focus on wildlife and nature. We see a fish being caught in a stream by Alucard, and that's who we're catching up with first, basically. We see him collecting his supplies under the shadow of the castle. I like that. It's so peaceful and that, but then you get this kind of imposing view of the castle. Just a reminder that still exists.
I mean, we've said it many times, but the design is so beautiful.
Still a beautiful looking show, 100%. But the Dampier, Alucard, he seems at peace as he's picking berries, herbs, and vegetables. He seems chilled.
I thought he was depressed.
At first, during the part where he's just picking stuff and all that, I thought, he seems very peaceful. When we go back into the castle, and what they do is there's no music. It's quiet. You hear the clacking of his feet. That's where... And I noticed, oh God, he hasn't really done a good job of cleaning up.
No.
Like, the place is still a bit of a wreck, which is fair enough. It did get wrecked. It's not going to take you a bit longer than a month to really kind of sort that out.
Yeah.
And we see him getting some wine and preparing a meal of fish and vegetables, but for one. And that's where the kind of penny drops. You're like, I know where we're going. And you can see he's clearly trying to just being lonely, as we see he's made dolls of Trevor and Cypher and pretends to do their voices, which is quite funny.
I thought it shows that he's really missing them. Yeah,
absolutely. And he himself comes to the realization, like jokingly, I'm finally going insane. So it's quite clear he's lonely. Basically, that's what it is. He's lonely, you know? And that's obviously having an effect on his mind. There's a big difference between being this sleeping soldier. You're asleep. Yep. You don't really know you're lonely compared to being actually alone. And obviously, nobody visits him because Dracula's castle is a terrifying thing. Yeah. So you're not going to have people just showing up to say hello.
I mean, I got the impression... I not anymore, because I've seen episode 2, but I got the impression that... For me personally, that he could have gone away with Dracula, gone a bit crazy. Maybe he becomes the new Dracula. But then episode 2, I sort of lost that.
Okay. Well, who knows where this season may take us?
Of course.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Trevor and Cypher are on the road on the hunt for basically night creatures, errant night creatures, wandering ones split from Dracula, Hob being dead, and hunting and killing people around. That's where their focus is.
Yep.
They are actually expecting an ambush, but are prepared for it. Bait the monsters in with a sort of silly little pretend thing where she acts like she's all alone and weak and all that. It's over the top, but it is fun. Their chemistry has well improved. And what I really like is at no point do they go, oh yeah, we're a couple. It's just sort of presumed. Okay, we've moved to that stage. It isn't like, they don't have a relationship. You see what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't need it spelled out for us. Of course, they probably ended up being a couple. The ambush works. Not the night creatures ambush. Their version of the ambush works. The night creatures get close and they set about destroying them. It's a fight scene. It's just to remind you, I guess, of the pair's individual abilities.
Yeah, again, it was a lot of blood.
Fun and violent.
Yeah, it was fun and violent. You know, Trevor got his ass kicked again.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Because you do watch and you're like, well, Trevor's obviously very talented, very skilled. But Cypher's the real strength in this.
That's what I thought. I thought without his weapon, I don't know whatever you call it.
The cross. The holy cross.
Yeah,
cross whip.
He's human.
He is still human. Yeah, but so Cypher, to be fair.
Yeah, of course, she has got magical powers.
I thought the whole point was it was to show how they work together and stuff like that. After the fight, we learned that Trevor and Cypher have been dealing with a lot of different issues over the past month. They kind of reflect on what they've been going through, and they seem tired. Seems like it's not easy. Like, it looks like they're having fun, but they kind of afterwards make a point of showing you, well, it's not actually fun. This is hard work. And decide they're going to go visit a local town, tie up like a night creature to the back of it to show that they're friends, because approaching and being like, look, we're killers and night creatures would help. But now we get to the really interesting stuff. Let's be honest, there's two people we really want to check in, right?
Yep.
We want to check in on Hector, and we want to see what Isaac is up to. And we go to Hector as we return to Camilla as she returns to her castle in the icy land of Styria with Hector and her remaining army. What do you make of the Styria, seeing it properly now?
It looks
very cool.
I mean, it looks dark and evil and dank. Yeah, it's
cold,
yeah,
basically.
Cold, cold, yeah.
She's greeted by her sisters Lenore, who's voiced by Jessica Brown-Findlay, and Striga, voiced by Ivana Milevic. After bickering over the destruction and devastation of their forces, the sisters reunite. So they have this kind of bickering thing.
Yeah.
I thought immediately they did a good job of showing this how the sisters are with each other.
Yes. Yep.
You know, they're catty with each other, clawing at each other to begin with, but then reunite properly, you know?
Yeah.
Camilla orders Hector to be held in a cell, unharmed, and declares she may have a use for the Forge Master. As the other sisters, I thought was really interesting. We're like, what's that?
Yeah.
And they're not used to seeing humans in this sort of environment.
Yep.
Yeah, especially live ones, which, does tie in as we get along.
Yep.
They head inside with a final sister, Morana, voiced by Yasmin Al-Masari, awaits. So there's four sisters, basically.
Yep.
Carmilla has 3. Hector is thrown naked into a cell and given a rotten piece of bread to eat. And, I felt sorry for him. He was manipulated by just about everybody. Carmilla, Dracula. Maybe do not forget Dracula manipulated and lied to him too. That's the biggest thing you got to always remember. It's easy to forget that. Yeah, he betrayed Dracula, but Dracula was not honest with Hector at all.
I'm hoping that he's going to have an epic ending to his story.
You could argue and see the argument that both Hector and Isaac have potential to have redemption arcs, but from different directions.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And that's going to be the most, for me at this point, although I've seen the show before, it was still like the most exciting part. I love Trevor, Cypher, and Alucard, but I'm like, want to see what Hector and Isaac are doing.
Yeah.
Inside the castle, the 4 sisters reconvene as the Council of Sisters, and Carmilla reveals the failure of their plan. The other sisters don't actually care about the failure. They're only happy that Camilla came back and declared that it's us against the world as it always was.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
At a small town called Lindenfeld, we meet Saint-Germain. Saint-Germain, voiced by Bill Nighy.
Ooh.
Big voice actor there, man.
Yeah, did not know.
Yeah, Bill Nighy, as he debates the increase in price of apples. He also reveals through the money debate that he may not be here from originally. So him getting this scene, did you quickly clock that Saint-Germain is going to be an important player now?
Yeah. I mean, it was quite obvious. It wouldn't be a random civilian talk.
Yeah, it's a good 2 minutes of this thing.
Yeah, so obviously, but towards the end of the episode, you gather that he is going to be one of these, either a bad guy or a good guy, but he's in between,
a bit of both.
Or in between it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially the priors, what they call it, I think, preachers of priors.
The priory. The monks of the priory.
Yeah, so obviously they're another one too, yeah.
Trevor and Cypher arrive in the town, and Saint-Germain is intrigued by the new visitors. They're greeted by the judge of Lindenfeld, voiced by Jason Isaacs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
So the voice cast keeps getting better and better. He was grateful for their killing of the night creatures nearby. As they go through some introductions, the arrival of some monks from the local priory changes the tone. The leader of the monks, Prior Salah, voiced by Navid Negaban, is happy to see the dead night creatures that Trevor has, but not for the reason you initially thought, right? Because when they arrive, there is a tone switch, and you do get the impression, and based off what we've done on 2 previous seasons, religion isn't great.
Here we go again.
Yeah, here we go again. But were you surprised by the angle this goes for? Because basically, it turns out they sympathise with Dracula's cause and are happy to see the night creatures destroyed because they believe they betrayed Dracula and they want to punish those responsible for his death.
Yeah, so from what I gathered, so basically they're like Dracula worshippers.
Basically,
pretty much,
Satan worshippers, all that.
And they obviously they admit that it was the church's fault, the reason why Dracula went this way.
Indeed.
They did admit that, which is good.
Well, yeah, we kind of get a little bit more of that as Trevor and Cypher avoid revealing too much, but Salah clearly has some suspicions. As things get tense, the judge intervenes and the priory leaves. The judge tells Trevor and Cypher that the reveal of the church's involvement in the entire Dracula saga may have driven Salah and his group mad. Love those layers.
Yep.
Love the idea that if you dedicate your life to Christianity, the Lord, Jesus and all that, and then to find out the most inner workings of that belief system was in league with what was arguably the devil. Where do you turn? Like, what do you do?
Exactly, yeah.
Like, yeah, it could break a person's mind.
I also got the impression that they were dropping hints like Dracula's wife was still alive.
Well, of course, you're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
You're getting a little ahead of yourself because we are going to be referencing a lot of talk about a new aspect of things, which is hell. But you are getting ahead of yourself. So Trevor and Cypher introduce themselves, but leave off their last names for protection. Trevor and Cypher debate the morals of selling the night creature's teeth, but realise they need some money, they let it pass. Trevor is happy to have a beer, declaring it better than sex, which offends Cypher, so she freezes his drink. And here is the most obvious, they're a couple.
Yep.
Because she gets offended, suggesting that they're sleeping together. To something like that. But it is a nice, funny scene between them.
Yeah.
As they're arguing, having fun and bants and all that, we cut back to Hector in his cell as an icy bucket of water is thrown over his naked body. And he lies there shivering. And it's that contrast of, the side you chose. It's a sad moment, but it's like, okay, he's going to be broken down to his lowest level. How are we going to come back from this?
It is, but then I am also thinking that he
You think he deserves it?
He deserves it, but at some point, he's going to get his revenge, man. This guy is not stupid.
Revenge on who?
On
Camilla.
Camilla, I think so.
He's in her castle with 4 of her sisters surrounded by vampires. What possible revenge can he do?
I think at some point, this guy is very smart. For Dracula to choose him. And obviously,
He was I think Dracula chose him because he was easy to manipulate,
possibly
as a forge master.
Possibly, but
remember, both of them. Never forget Hector's devotion to Dracula was because Dracula understood him, and they came to an agreement about what he could do. Isaac's devotion was one because of love. He believed Dracula.
I do believe that there will be a time where he's going to wake up and realise that, hang on, I'm being manipulated, and I'm going to actually...
Oh, I think he knows it now completely. I think he realises, and I think him trusting anybody in the future is going to be very, very difficult.
And it'll show his true powers. Obviously, he's a forge master.
Unfortunately, I know the future, and I tell you right now, Hector is in line for more mistakes before anything actually happens. What you actually need to be focused on is not Hector. Isaac. Isaac is the real question mark of everything. But we will get into that as this show goes on. But yeah, we're back. That is episode 1. It's a nice reintroduction to everybody to see where they are, to see that not much has changed, really, but reintroduce our characters, put them in a position, drop in hints of new people like Saint Germain, the judge, Salah, the monk from the priory, obviously the sisters, the council of sisters, so we're getting everyone in. But they also don't feel like new. They feel like they have been here all along, but we just haven't seen them yet. Yeah,
the one thing which I'll give the show a lot of credit for is the fact that too many shows in the past, they have an epic finale, and then the season starts and it's just so bland and boring.
Struggle to get back into the speed of it.
This one I was into it straight away.
Do you know what I reckon that is? Now, you initially complained about this last time, but I think you might reflect on this differently. The big epic finale of Season 2 comes in the second to last episode. The last episode is just like a slow drive down. So coming back in this, well, now it's like that. We went big, down, and now we're going to begin to curve back upwards. And we'll get into more of that in episode 2. But for now, this is Bless Your Dead Little Heart. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
You really enjoyed it? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.